Welcome to another episode of Workflow. In these series of videos, I help you get most of your tech, especially if you're into productivity, minimal setup, and making your workspace work harder for you. In today's video, I'm going to address one of the most commonly asked questions. Which keyboard or case should I use with my iPad? If you have been following me on social media, you realize that I use Apple Magic Keyboard a lot, and there's a good reason for that. And recently, Apple iPad has become one of the most used devices in my workflow. And that is because I've combined the different accessories together to create a really productivity on the go device. So the first case that I would actually recommend is the Apple Magic Keyboard. With the integrated keyboard, you're actually creating a mini Mac. The Magic Keyboard typing experience is just like a MacBook, and with other functionalities like the backlighting, the function keys, and the integrated trackpad makes the whole experience feel like a laptop, yet you're using a tablet. If you want to get most from your iPad, I 100% recommend you going for the Apple Magic Keyboard. And it's not only about the functionality. See, for me, I hate having bulky cases on iPad. I hate having a keyboard case which adds so much weight to your iPad. It becomes difficult to carry around on a daily basis, and it doesn't always also look nice. So whilst I was looking for a case with the integrated keyboard, I wanted to get something which keeps the design factor into consideration. And for me, no one does that better than Apple. So Apple Magic Keyboard is not just a massive tick when it comes to functionality, it's also a massive tick when it comes to design. The floating design, the elegant look, and the simplicity in the whole way you attach your iPad to it and take it off just makes it the best accessory for your iPad. And as I said before, it turns your iPad into a mini Mac. And with the new iOS 26, I think this is going to increase the performance of your iPad at least by 5 folds. And I'm really looking forward to testing it with the new iOS 26. In fact, I've got a video coming up very soon, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So yes, in terms of the first recommended accessory for iPad, it has to be the Magic Keyboard. Alright, so let's switch it up now. There are cases where I don't use my iPad on the Magic Keyboard. So I might be on my desk, for example, and I don't need to type on my iPad. In that case, I'll be using the Apple keyboard for that purpose. So I'll have my iPad on a stand on my desk, but then I'll be using my keyboard to type on my Mac Studio as well as on my iPad or MacBook Air. So it's a whole ecosystem integration. So as I said at the beginning of this video, it really depends on how you are using your iPad. For me, I don't use my iPad as much on my desk setup itself. I use it more on the go. So for me, Magic Keyboard is definitely a must-have. So but if you are more someone who is at home and working at your desk, and you don't really need a dedicated keyboard for your iPad, but you occasionally do like typing on your iPad, then I would just recommend getting the Apple keyboard. And then that integrates with all your other Apple devices. And that way, when you do want to type on your iPad, you can just put the iPad on a stand and then just type using the normal Apple keyboard. And the final keyboard that I recommend is the foldable Bluetooth keyboard. I mean, there are so many multiple options you can find online, but this one, I'll put the link down in the description. It's pretty portable. You can carry it around. It can fold into a very small size, fits in your backpack, and you can carry your iPad. And whenever you want to type on an iPad, then you can use this foldable keyboard. So that ends my video here. I mean, it's a short one. The point here was I wanted to address that point that I get asked quite a lot, which keyboard or case is best to use with an iPad. And a lot of the iPad users don't actually consider the Magic Keyboard. They think it's like half of the price of an iPad. For example, if you go for the base iPad or even the iPad Air, adding a Magic Keyboard is like half of the price of an iPad. So it doesn't make sense. But if you have an iPad Pro, you want to make sure that you utilize the full functionality of the iPad. Again, I wouldn't recommend getting an iPad Pro if you are not using it as a pro user. But if you are, then definitely add a Magic Keyboard because it will make sure that you get most of your iPad. It's like a laptop level experience, and in some cases even better. And you keep all the form factor of your screen. Your keyboard doesn't eat up half of your screen on your iPad. So by having this Magic Keyboard, you get kind of best of both worlds. You can use it as a laptop, or you can easily take it off the Magic Keyboard and use it as a tablet. And for me, being versatile is always the option to go for. I don't like to be rigid. I don't like to have an accessory which restricts me in the way I use my device. I like to have all the options available. Again, there are many options out in the market which are similar to Magic Keyboard. Yes, they can do pretty much the same thing a Magic Keyboard does. And yes, they're half of the price. Again, for me, I'm not changing my iPad every other year like my iPhone. I keep my iPad usually 4 to 5 years. So for me, it's an investment. And I'll make sure that by having the accessory on my iPad, I'm actually getting most of my device and my investment. So yeah, so that was it, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and hopefully that was helpful. If so, make sure you like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for staying all the way to the end. It really means a lot to me. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.